Thank you everybody for coming. It's a great morning to be up and alive, and everyone, it's a couple days after Thanksgiving. So if you survived that big turkey, then more power to you. We I apologize. Sometimes I get started a little bit later, and last couple of episodes I have been starting a little later than I should, and I haven't been as prompt as I'd like to be. And I apologize. Thanks for sticking with me, everybody. Let me introduce my great co-host, my great friend, David McNiner. How are you this morning, David?
I'm good. I was just scrambling to. I was a little late myself, folks. I was scrambling to get here, putting in some work at work this morning.
So it definitely happens. Being busy is definitely it's important and makes gives you a purpose, makes you feel good, And sometimes being too busy can make you tired. I got a wake up call this morning and on call about 5 o'clock in the morning, and well, it's not an emergency, but they definitely woke me up. So, folks, how is your turkey? Please tell me in the chat. Let everybody know. We have John Jay. We have Tommy Huxley. We have 49ers Throwback. Thank you for coming. It's always great to have y'all here. So, everybody, we have 3 games on Thanksgiving. Green Bay, Detroit. Green Bay took care of Detroit for everybody, for us. Just helped us a little bit get closer to that number 1 seed. Now we're in the number 2 position. Washington played Dallas. Well, Dallas seems to beat up on bad teams. I'm not going to say Washington's a bad team, but Dallas beats up on teams that are 500 or below. But when they play a good team, it's not the same. It's just not the same. San Francisco went up to Seattle, and that's the game that we were really excited to hear about and talk about. So San Francisco, they finally got to eat turkey, and we got to eat turkey on the field. 2004, it happened to us. 2004, I'm so sorry, 2014, it happened to us, and we had to wait until 2023, 9 years. Then, for the first ever Black Friday, Miami is playing the Jets, and it was a divisional back and forth game. If you guys know the story of the Jets right now, they are a team without a quarterback. Anybody can play quarterback in New York. It's not going to help. It's just not going to help right now. But they have a good defense. The quarterback that they brought in, he got injured beginning of the season, and it's just a little too late for the Jets, I think, at this time. So before we get into the rest of the games for Sunday, and we'll keep the show short because the games will be starting here shortly. Again, thank you everybody for showing up. Tony, I see you. All right, let's get into it. Made a little hype video, everybody. So if you are interested in seeing the matchups and you can't stay for the whole breakdown, this will give you a quick understanding of who's playing who. And let's go right here. And we are going to play it. Again, just a quick little hype video to give you a little bit of some visual to say, hey, I know that team, and hey, that looks like somebody I recognize. So yes, these guys are definitely going to be playing each other. Not the mascots necessarily, but it would be kind of fun to see the mascots take on each other. We're going to break these games down. So, guys, thanks for coming, and let's get into it. So, David, New Orleans and Atlanta, how you feeling?
I'm honestly thinking that it's the Falcons are going to take this. It's a home game. My screen might be frozen, folks, but as long as you can hear me, we're okay. The Saints ain't going to come marching in. You know.
Yeah, definitely. It's a divisional game. They can go back and forth. The Saints are kind of hurt at this time, but the Falcons they don't have a quarterback at this time. They're playing hokey pokey at the quarterback right now. Everybody's taking a step in and out. So Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is they're a team with a quarterback, but their quarterback's not succeeding. So they've went ahead and changed offensive coordinators, and we're going to see if that helps. So Pittsburgh, hey, did anybody expect them to be 6-3 right now? And then Bengals had a quarterback, but they got hurt. And, sadly, they beat us before he got hurt, and it's sad. So if the Bengals can continue to win, yeah, anything's possible. But when you don't have the MVP, I don't know what to say. David, if you are still okay, we're going to go ahead and put you on Carolina and Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm still here. As long as you can see me, it looks like I'm holding totally still, though.
Yeah, you are super.
But I tried messing with it a little bit just to see if I can get it to refresh, but it won't. But it is what it is. So Carolina at Tennessee. Carolina's, in the process of starting a rebuild, and Tennessee is probably going to be starting a rebuild here shortly. I think the Titans are going to take this home game, though.
If you would like to come out, go back out and come back in, we could maybe refresh you there. Or if you're comfortable, you don't look bad, so that's the good thing.
All right, I'll be right back.
All right. So we just talked about Carolina and Tennessee, Tampa Bay and Indianapolis, Baker Mayfield. Oh boy, the guy definitely he can play ball. It's not going to happen this year in Tampa Bay. And Indianapolis, another team that they need a quarterback. They have Gardner Minshew, really cool guy, really cool haircut, everything. But he's not all what they need. I look at this game and I see Indianapolis winning it. One, because it's going to be a home game for Indy. And two, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is a team that has a lot of weapons. They did go to a Super Bowl, but right now it's not adding up for them in the locker room. So that's where we're at with Tampa Bay and Indy. New England and the Giants. Let's bring in David.
Hey,
David,
working again. Look at that.
Let's go. Okay, so you're back, and we're going to give you New England and New York. So the Patriots going against the New York Football Giants.
Ooh, I don't even remember who I actually picked at this game. Oh, I picked the Patriots. Shout out to Blake Zappi. But you don't know who's their starting QB is going to be, right?
No, I think it's number 19, but I'm not positive.
But yeah, I got the Patriots winning this one. Just Bill Belichick seems to have a better team than the New York Giants do, although the New York Giants did step up last week and they beat the Commies. So
yeah, a division game though. That's like, that's playing against your brother or something like that, your cousin.
Yep.
You should know how to play them. Shout out to Tommy Huxley. I can't argue with that. Jake Moody has been solid. Okay, so we are moving on to Jacksonville and Houston, and this is a really interesting game because this could be, definitely is playoff implications on the line. Whoever wins this game could end up winning the division. So I gotta go with Jacksonville. That's just my thoughts. Trevor Lawrence, I think he's a really good quarterback. Houston has a really good quarterback too. They are firing on all cylinders, and D'Amico, shout out to the Houston 49ers. They are playing really well, but I'm going to stick with Jacksonville because I think they just have the experience. We'll just say it like that. Even though Houston with D'Amico does bring a lot of experience. Okay, this is a legendary matchup, and it goes back to playoff history. Cleveland Browns against Denver. David, your thoughts?
I honestly think Russell Wilson got back in the kitchen and learned how to cook again. Seemed to have forgot, how to cook for about last season and a half. But it looks to me like he is back on track. Sean Payton has his footing in Denver. I think the Denver Broncos are going to take this game.
Very, very possible. Let's ride. Everybody's gonna be wearing t-shirts. It could happen. It could definitely happen. Okay, so I get the little brother game. I get the divisional game of the week. LA Rams versus Arizona. This game could very well go either way. The Rams could come to play, but just something tells me that because it's at home for Arizona, Kyler Murray's back. I think he gets the W here. All right, we're moving on. Moving on. Kansas City and Las Vegas. This is an interesting matchup. David, can Kansas City are they going to blink an eye, or are the Raiders going to say something?
I think Kansas City is going to blink an eye in this one because, I mean, the Raiders, that their new head coach, what was it, Antonio Pierce, has them playing hard, but the Kansas City Chiefs are just playing a better football team overall. They're coming off a loss to the Eagles, a bad game for them. Actually, they did not play good. I see them bouncing back.
Kansas City has beat the Raiders like 16 times in a row, and I think if I'm correct, they lost. They just broke that tie streak. I think the Raiders just I gotta look that up. The Raiders beat Kansas City. If anybody in the chat knows, please drop that. I'm gonna look that up right now.
I know the Raiders have a streak against the Broncos going, don't they?
Was that the Broncos versus the Kansas City that had the 16 game winning streak? I think that's it. And I think the Raiders do have a 10 game winning streak versus the Broncos. Let's see. Kansas City versus KC. All right. Let's check this out. Game history. Should have been a little bit faster at this, folks. Okay, let's see. Says 31-13, January 7th. So have they not played already this year? November 26th, Kansas City versus Las Vegas. That's coming up. Okay. Well, I will come back with that later. I'm not going to dig that out just yet. I'm not fast with my phone. Buffalo and Philadelphia. I would really, really like to see Buffalo win this game. One, Josh Allen's my quarterback, my fantasy quarterback. He's not been playing the best, but he's been doing okay. I'm not for him just going out there and arm punting the ball. I don't think that's good at all. You come out, your defense was playing, they get a turnover, or you just got the ball back on a kickoff, whatever, punt. You come out and you have the ball for 2-3 plays, and then you throw a Hail Mary, and the next thing you know, it's intercepted. Oh, it was like an arm punt. No, you just give your team, a disadvantage once again, because instead of, maybe running the ball, going for a shorter pass, doing something that was going to continue to move the chains, you went for the home run. You failed, but that's okay because look how far back the other team is. No, look how hard you made it for your defense. Now your defense is back on the field. The one good thing about Buffalo, they have some ball hawking safeties. Their guys can come out and play. So I definitely see Buffalo getting some interceptions, some picks, some turnovers. Hurd is known to throw, Hurts is known to throw interceptions. That's probably the weakness of Philadelphia. So I'm rolling with Baltimore, and that just makes it a little bit closer for Buffalo. I'm so sorry. Rolling with Buffalo, that makes it a little bit closer for us to maybe obtain that first seed. Fingers crossed. Okay, David, Baltimore and LA Chargers. Your thoughts?
The Ravens are playing good football right now, and the Chargers seem to have all the talent in the world but can never put it together. I got the Ravens taking the Chargers. I believe it's at Levi's Inglewood.
Yes. And this is a game that, this is a game LA could win, being healthy, their turf. But can you really honestly say LA has a home field advantage? Does the Chargers have a home field advantage? Do the Rams have a home field advantage? No. So that's it could be Baltimore all the way. Shout out to Darwin. Hopefully, if you are wanting to watch the game, you can tune into his channel. He'll be streaming it, and it's going to be a good stream. If you are definitely into watching and wanting to listen to some good commentary about the Ravens, he'll be going. Okay, so we're going to move on to Chicago and Minnesota. This is a game that wow. Both teams really, really thought they'd be in different positions right now, but both teams are still, what is it when you're in water, David, and treading water? Thank you.
Yep.
Neither one of them is under, but the Bears aren't worried. Levi brought it up yesterday. They're going to get the number one draft pick from Carolina. They're going to get another good pick right now, with their record the way it is. They're going to get some good pieces in the next 2 years, possibly 3 years. The Bears are going to be really, really, really dangerous because of the talent that they could accumulate from this draft. But hey, didn't they take Trubisky? So I mean, like, it does depend on who you draft too. Just because you draft somebody in the first round doesn't mean it's always going to pan out. What's your thoughts? Chicago, Minnesota. I am going to take Minnesota. I think Josh Dobbs has come into play, and he was playing really good for Arizona. He was on the Browns, believe it or not, and he was playing good for the Cardinals. They weren't winning, but he was still playing good. And now Minnesota, different color, maybe different locker room. He's putting up some wins. What's your thoughts?
I think Josh Dobbs has, solidified himself as a top tier backup. And this next offseason, it's kind of a contract year for him if you think about it. But at this point, the Vikings, they're playing good football, even without Captain Kirk, and the Bears are not. So I got the Vikings taking this.
Yeah, I think even if Justin Phillips plays, and I believe he's going to play, I still think Dobbs is going to play because I think the Vikings sneak in. I really think they sneak into the playoffs. Number 6 seed. I don't think they get the 5th seed. I think Dallas will get the 5th seed. I think Dallas will have one of the better records in the league, and I don't think they get their division because obviously they're playing with the Eagles. If the Eagles lose their division, that's something but I mean, how the Eagles would have to really fall off, right? They'd have to fly into a building or something, right? And it can happen. Birds do fly into buildings.
It really could happen. Yes.
So, all right. So, everybody in the chat, thank you for coming. If you have any score predictions or any games that you're excited about, please put it in the chat. The game that I'm probably most excited about here, David, is Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. That's the early game. And I'm also excited about the Jacksonville and Houston game. I'm going to have my ear out for the Kansas City game and the Raider game. And I'll probably be watching the Buffalo and Philadelphia game.
I'm unfortunately probably heading back to work after this for a while.
Oh boy. Well,
I'm gonna be watching Red Zone on my NFL Plus while I'm working though. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, definitely thank you for all of your time, and I'll keep you here for just a couple more minutes if it's all right. And then, yeah, I mean, shout out to the Working Man. If you've ever heard the band Rush, you know what I'm talking about. They call him the Working Man. But yeah, I think this is going to be a great week. Moving forward, real quick glance at the upcoming schedule. The Seahawks have to play Dallas, and Seattle cannot afford to keep losing games really quickly. The Niners will be playing Philadelphia. That's going to be a really, really, really important game for the Niners. It might be. David, is there any other game this year that's more anticipated than that one? Maybe the Eagles and Chiefs game that just happened last week, the rematch of the Super Bowl, but what's your thoughts?
Now, what are we talking about? The Raiders? Chiefs and Raiders?
So the Eagles, the Eagles and the Niners game this upcoming week. Would you
Oh,
say that's the most anticipated game of this NFL season? Maybe barring the Chiefs and the Eagles game that just happened last week.
I honestly believe it is because look at how we lost the NFC Championship game. Our quarterback got hurt, and then I remember we were actually on live watching it, and we're like, "What's wrong with Brock Purdy? Like he's on the sideline, he's throwing. Like why isn't he in the game?" And it honestly took them 3 quarters to beat us without a quarterback. So I do like our chances rolling in.
They don't. They are very good and they are dominant. They are very proficient. They are good at getting off, staying away from penalties. But they are beatable. And we talked a little bit about the Cowboys earlier, and the Cowboys beat these really bad teams, these teams that are below 500. But when they play a team like the Eagles, when they play a team like us, they don't put up the points. It's the same thing like the Eagles. The Eagles don't put up the points against all these teams. And then some teams like the Ravens, not the Ravens, the I wanted to say Redskins, but it's the Commanders. They play them twice a year, but they know the Eagles, and they played the Eagles really tough. The Eagles had to play a full game, came down to the end. Same thing with the Cowboys. When the Cowboys played the Eagles, came down to the end. So if anybody thinks this is going to be a blowout, or it could be any given Sunday, but I think the 49ers, the way they're playing right now, I think with defense is playing, we do have Chase Young, who did play against Washington. Chase Young, right? He did play against Eagles, Philadelphia. He played against him twice already this year. So he knows how to get around that line. He knows, how to push on those players and get through that O line. Maybe he's the charge that we need, the little extra energy. But David, thank you again for coming, everybody. Shout out to y'all. Real quick before you leave, I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you got to catch me last night, David. I was on with my cousin Kenny, but we were talking yesterday with Levi, and I believe you were with us. And I went and did some little research and found some pictures, and it is a bit of a conspiracy. So if everybody would like to stick around for just give me a couple seconds, and we're going to go into this hot topic real quick. Do you want me to play it again?
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
There's a color theme going on, and it's not me. I didn't figure this out. Levi, he definitely pointed this out. But for the last couple logos, the Super Bowl logos have some way, oddly enough, been color friendly to the teams that we're playing in it. And I just think that's awesome. That's awesome. So this year it's purple and red. So are you telling me it's the Baltimore Ravens and the Niners, or Kansas City Chiefs and the Vikings? But the question marks that makes me a little excited. I am definitely gonna I'm not pulling out the tinfoil hat right now, folks, but keep that in the back of your mind. Logos, colors, and Vegas have a lot to do with each other. With that, I think we're gonna get out of here. David, what you got going on? I know you're going back to work. Me and you are going to be doing a show tomorrow. Tuesday you're going to be going live with Damian Lee.
Yep.
I think Wednesday I'm going to go live with my cousin Kenny. We're going to be back at it together. I think what we'll be doing, we're going to be back at it together on Friday, on the Friday night show. I believe this week is going to be, I got to make sure it's right with everybody. It should be Joe and Jason and TJ. And then the following week will be Beto. And we'll just, you guys just keep coming in, and we'll keep telling you the schedule as it keeps coming through. Twin and Terradome will be the following week, and we'll be continuing our rotation. But thank you all for coming. Keep tuning in. Saturdays and Sundays, I go live most of the time I have David with me. I really do appreciate it when David's here. And, every once in a while you'll see us back. Oh, and David, let him know too what we'll be doing here soon with our next guest on the McNiner and Culp show.
Dina Harvey after the Eagles game, folks. So not next week, but the week after, we'll be going on with Dina Harvey at some point.
Yeah, it'll probably be like a Wednesday, or we'll have maybe a month. Yeah, it's Wednesday. I think that's what she said, because she's busy on Tuesday, so it'll be a Wednesday. So it'll probably be for Corey Davis's show, his weekly pick'ems. So definitely tune in or send in your picks. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Please hit the like button, share, tell a friend, tell them about David's channel, tell them about my channel, and come on back. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate y'all. You guys have a great one. Enjoy the games, and it's bird hunting season. So hopefully see you next week for some barbecue, and we'll be barbecuing some chicken or something. So all right,
barbecuing
folks.
Some green chicken, although that doesn't sound good.
Not getting up.